Hello, hello, hello. The idea, insight, or sales secret you need for massive impact is just moments away. It's time to get more clients. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Get More Clients. I'm your host, Lynn Whitbeck. Business owners and entrepreneurs hire me to ignite winning sales because most fail to connect, capture, and close their ideal clients. The mission of this show is to share Fortune 500 sales secrets to help you open the vault to your greater business success. Now, I'm going to start with a story that goes back a little bit in time, so things could definitely have changed. And I was traveling with my mom, and we were going to Montreal to fly home. And that's Montreal in Quebec in Canada. Now, we were headed back to the airport in a rental car, which we needed to drop off. And suddenly, the signs, we'd gotten off to the airport, they went from being in French and English to being all French. And this is as we entered the airport area. Now, neither my mother or myself speak or read French. So we're driving around trying to figure out where is the rental car return, because we have no idea. We don't know what the signs say. And we are getting so stressed out on where we have to go. And to add to that, my mom is a very nervous traveler. She literally likes to be at the gate at least 2 hours before a flight leaves, so she can just almost have her little face pressed against the glass waiting for the plane. So even though we had plenty of time, that was adding to my stress of how wigged out she was getting. Now, there was a little bright spot. There was this giant roundabout. And it was like something you would see in London around Hyde Park, which I have. It was really, really on a big scale. I mean, wow, it was the biggest roundabout I think I've ever seen. And we just kept having to go around and around and around because we didn't know where we were going. That level of frustration, overwhelm, and anger we felt at the end of the journey was an experience we didn't expect. We ended our wonderful trip on this really sour note because of a painful gap in the client experience. So we were travelers, we were the clients. This painful gap in their airport signage. So this is going to tie in to what we're talking about today, because last week I shared how a crown methodology in sales secures royal results. And today I'm going to be discussing why creating delight for your client guarantees sales success. Mapping your client journey is an essential building block of good sales strategy. And the exclusive SAMI, SAMI methodology is ideal to quickly and easily cover all your bases. So by the end of today's show, you will know how to align the sales, relationship, and client stages. Chart associated activities with each stage and determine existing influences. Identify gaps, areas of friction, and pain points for immediate process improvements. By creating delight at every stage of the client experience, of your client's experience, when they're working with you, your clients will become raving fans, purchase more, and deliver valuable referrals. So to get started on our client journey, the first thing we need to do is align our stages. Because how you create this ease and delight for your clients and what the process looks like, this is where we're going to begin. We're going to identify the gaps in your client journey experience as we go through this today. Like, are the signs in English and French, right? So you can have ease of the journey instead of areas of friction, or in this case, our back in the day, a huge Herkin gap. Here's the good news. When you identify those areas of pain points and where you shine, it enables you to implement immediate process improvements. Because when you see a critical gap, you can fill the gap, either on a short-term or intermediary basis. Then revisit to create a better process so the gap is erased. So the goal is to have that wonderful client experience throughout their journey. And today we're working on enhancing that experience, because when people are thrilled about the experience of working with you, of course, they want to share it. And these can be in testimonials, reviews, and introductions. Most important is the opportunity for referrals. When you ask for a referral and they've had this wonderful experience, why wouldn't they want to share that experience with the people they know? Their friends, family, colleagues, and peers. This is why creating a delightful client experience is so vitally crucial for your business. And this is from the beginning of the initial attraction through them becoming a lifelong friend or a lifelong referral partner. So let's talk about the methodology. And I have a very specific SAMI, SAMI process, and I'm going to get to it in a minute. I'm going to go through all of it. So you don't have to worry, it's all going to be revealed. But when we look at methodology, we're really looking at how we align the sales, relationship, and client perspectives. So in my methodology, we call those strands, because there's a sales strand from your perspective. Where are things at? Are they at the attraction stage? Are you building rapport? Are you guiding them to the decision? Have they now become a client? So you're now nurturing and flourishing so that you're receiving more business and referrals. There's the relationship strand. And that's sort of the definition of where that relationship is, especially on trust. Because, they get to that, it's sort of like when you're dating, and you may have that, oh, wow, this is so exciting. But then, is this really the right thing? And you got to start working it out. And there's maybe a few hiccups. And then it's like, oh, wait, this is really a special relationship. But there's that relationship strand. And then there's the client perspective. So for them, this is a decision-making process that they're going through. And at the same time, an emotional process of getting to know you, your products and services, how it makes them feel. How is it going to help them? How's it going to solve whatever they're trying to fix, solve, or address? And from each of those perspectives, we want to keep that in mind as we're looking through this journey. And as you know, the most important perspective is your clients. So a lot of times we're really focused on that. Now, we may label it that they're now in the decision-making stage, but what's really going on from the client's perspective is always what we want to focus on and dive into. So let's get back to SAMI, SAMI. These are how I define this client journey. S is for those sales strands, the sales, relationship, and client. A is for activities. These are associated activities that go with each of these stages. And then there's M for methodology. And so this is the tools, the systems that you're using, your sales process, your strategy. And then there are influences. And influences are all the things that influence your client along their journey, and also you and your interaction with your client. So once again, that sales strand is sales, relationship, and client perspective. It's always about aligning these three perspectives in each of those sales stages, yours, your clients, and where the relationship is. And the key is always focus on your client's perspective. Just know where they're at in the journey. Now, the next piece we're going to really dive into is charting the activities, because there's all kinds of activities that go on from the very beginning to when they're no longer a client, but they're still providing you with introductions and referrals. So A is for those activities, and we're charting associated activities with each stage of the client journey. So they start with that budding relationship when that prospect has just learned about you. So they're in that discovery mode. They've been attracted. There's been a spark, and they now have interest. And it could be they read an article that you wrote. They saw your social challenge, or they heard you on a podcast. They heard you on the stage, wherever that initial spark occurred. And that is that initial stage where they're just in that, oh, I've discovered this. And they're interested and want to know more. And then when someone has, been interacting with you, maybe they participated in your social challenge, they talk to you after your stage performance, they schedule a meeting with you. Now we've moved into a new part of the stage. We've been building rapport, and now we're getting into that rapport / decision making. We're in that arena, and you have a strategy session scheduled with them, and this is an activity and a movement forward in the sales stage. So each of these activities, you want to write them out, you want to map them so that you know what that flow looks like, and you're going to look for areas and gaps. Now M is for the methodology. And these are all your client touch points, the actual steps from point A to B. So I'm going to give you an example so that you understand sort of the activities and the methodology and how these two work together. So a new lead has opted into your lead magnet, and they received the lead magnet, right? So they discovered it, they created a spark of interest, and now they've received it. And then they receive a welcome to your community. And this is an email sequence. And they've been added to your regular email communication. So you're building rapport and adding value for the topic and what your product or service is, how you serve them. And then you offer a free masterclass, which they attend, and they schedule a discovery call. Now, this is a new activity, and the steps that go through that. And they have the call with you, and they schedule a follow-up discussion to really dive in more about your products or services. Then they become a prospect. That prospect becomes a client. They've become a purchaser. They've purchased your product or service. And the journey doesn't end there. In fact, that's just the beginning, because now you're going to implement and deliver whatever that product or service is. So those are an example of a step-by-step. And what does that look like? And one of the key things that we're looking at in the methodology are those touch points, and asking, are there areas of friction? And you want to focus on your client why, because this is going to help reveal if there are gaps or areas of friction. Now, I want to give you a classic example. And this is having a lead magnet, which I used in my steps just above. And that lead magnet literally goes nowhere. So your new lead, they receive the lead magnet, but the activity stops there. They get the thing. There's no welcome sequence. There's no additional value. You're not delighting them. And there's literally after that, no regular communication. It is a dead end. That is a big gap, especially for you, because this is an opportunity. This is someone who has been attracted to your content, is interested in your product or service, and you just left them out in the cold. My goodness, in the pouring rain with lightning and thunder. Don't do that. You need a welcome sequence. So this is a foundational piece that leads into ongoing email communications, because these are areas that you can continually provide value to your prospect on your product or service. on the things that matter to them, the things that keep them up at night, those the little pain in their hiney, right? So these are all opportunities also to lead them into the next stage. Join a masterclass, a workshop, you know, come and see you live on stage if they're in the area, and maybe a demonstration of your product or service at a conference. Receive that valuable advice. These are all areas that you are now really building trust and credibility and building a relationship to move to the next stage. Now, this is where you're going to test your workflows, your funnels, and processes. And this is the question you need to ask yourself, is this a seamless experience for my prospects? All right. Because if it isn't, and if there's a step missing, you're creating a gap, right? The other question you always want to be asking yourself, are you delivering extra value as perceived by your new lead, that prospect? Are you creating delight? Now, they expected to get that lead magnet, but are they also getting something else, an additional tool or a video with a mini training? Are you delivering that extra wow? These are the questions you answer in your methodology and how you're guiding your prospect forward to a decision to work with you. Now, let's talk about influences. You need to determine what are your existing influences. Now, influences go beyond just the client's realm. I want to be clear about that. And the client's realm could be, how familiar are they with your product or service? And you start to dive into this, such as how many people are going to be influencing their decision, such as their family, their friends, their partners, etc. In B2B, when you're selling to an executive, there are a bunch of influencers. Often there are a bunch of influencers. Now, they could be stakeholders. They could just be the influencers who can, either promote or kill the opportunity to work with you. So getting to know who's in that sphere of influence is really important. And you're going to look at their own motivations, the clients, your prospect, your new client to be, their motivations, behaviors, emotions, and beliefs around the problem and the solution that you deliver, the solution that whatever you fix or how you serve them. Because these are influences. And when people are really wrapped up in a certain belief, that can block them from moving forward with you. So really understanding that ideal client avatar, and then the discovery questions as you're working with the client will help you identify that even further. Remember, we always put on our detective hat. So what about other influences? Your company reputation will also influence your prospect, and how people on your team present themselves to the world. These are influences. I want to bring up a really important point that I want you to hold close to your heart. It can take a lifetime to build a reputation, and it can be destroyed in 5 minutes. So you need to guard it very carefully. And so how you're perceived in the marketplace, and including your key team members, it's very important. Now, internally, you want to look at how are you supporting sales through the client journey management, right? Because there are other team members. And if you've got a team member who is, I don't know, that negative Nelly, that gruesome Gus who just is and interacts with the client in any way. I mean, I don't care if they're just sending them an email for a delivery update. If that email is snarky, hey, that is not good. I mean, you can lose business from the other people within your organization. So you want to be cognizant of that, especially in that B2B world, or if you're going on site, however your product or service, you have additional team members who are interacting with the client. Those are all touches with the client. And finally, how and have you really clearly defined your sales strategy and the structure of that? Because everyone within your organization has an impact, potentially has an impact on your client. You know, could be if you're selling a product, how the packaging, they're really excited that they ordered this and it shows up and it's just a mess, and it wasn't packaged properly. I don't know how many times I've gotten something that, especially like from Amazon, and it's like literally you wonder who the heck packaged this. They put something fragile in with something heavy, and it's all been shook up and the whole box is shredded. And I've had, yeah, anyway, let's not go down there because that's a rabbit hole we don't want to go down. But that ended on this really sour note and also anger. So be very aware of those things. And this is where you get to identify gaps. Yeah, there are always openings and gaps within your client journey. And there are pain points, and there are spheres of excellence that you do so well, and you want to capture those. All right. So once again, I want to give you an example to put this in perspective. So, all right, we're going to do like an online course. Let's say your client goes to your online course and there's a link that they need to click to download a workbook, but it doesn't work. They get that, you blew up the internet, or it goes, it just simply doesn't work. The link doesn't work. So now there's been a break, and it's causing a pain point, an area of friction for your client. I mean, they're frustrated. They could be angry. And here is the most important piece I want you to grasp again. The client's perspective equals truth. If it's a gap for them, then it's a gap, period. And obviously, if you have a link that doesn't work, it's a gap. So, and how you handle those things is really important in that client repair. So I'm going to give you another example. And this is for a physical product. How does the client experience the receiving the product, right? And when they open it and they open that package, what does it look like? Is it in perfect, pristine condition? Yeah, that's the Amazon story, right? Now, if it's beautifully packaged, it's a really important influence to think about, because this is at the end of the client journey. They'd already made the purchase, but now they're receiving it. And for any of you who've ever opened an Apple product, it's an experience unto itself, the way everything is packaged. And what Apple is doing is evoking your emotions and feelings. They're creating this wow. It just blows you away how well it's packaged. And there is an experience of opening your new product. And this is how you influence your client journey and create delight along the way at that very last stage. So we've covered a lot of ground today, but keep in mind that SAMI, the sales stages, strands, the activities, the methodology, that step-by-step touch point, and the influences. Each phase within the client journey is about how your clients interact with you day to day, how you create a delightful experience, manage the relationship, and expand opportunities. When you create your client journey map, you identify what your client experiences when they work with you. It enables you to make those adjustments immediately and on the fly to ensure your clients have a delightful experience and you're not causing any areas of friction. Gaining a new client receiving a referral, or adding new business to an existing client. These are all big results of understanding your client journey, eliminating gaps, and creating a delightful experience. What was your biggest takeaway from this episode? I would love to hear about it. It's important to support things you love. And if you loved this episode, a 5-star review really helps keep the show coming to you regularly. Also, if you want to get more sales strategies to grow your business, make sure you subscribe right now. Now, today I explored why creating delight for your client guarantees sales success. And the key is for you to implement these steps to stop wasting your time, energy, and resources. If you want to get results even faster, I invite you to download my sales strategy checklist at petitetoqueen.com/checklist. Now, next week on Get More Clients, I will be sharing how to turn your clients into raving fans and get reviews and referrals. This has been Lynn Whitbeck, the host of Get More Clients, and I will see you next time.